And the third one, the third category is on the commercialization. So this one is where you want to scale up your business, and yeah, the aim is to support candidates who have already implemented and successfully scaled up an innovative project and are in need of additional funding for commercialization of the services and products developed for a project. So for this one, you can apply up to $1 million, but ISDB will take a bigger share when they grant you this third category for the grant funding. And the fourth one, this is the one that I applied for in 2019, which is on capacity building. So for this one, they are looking to support governments of member countries in developing their technical and functional science, technology, and innovation capacity to address major development challenges. So for this one, they are offering from $100,000 up to $150,000, and they are looking at, yeah, it's more like what kind of capacity that you want to build within your society. So that's basically the proposal for the fourth category. Okay, so basically this is my proposal and the one that is awarded for the Transform Fund. So the challenges that I address is basically the innovation gap between academia and industry, because we know that there is a huge gap between academia and industry. So basically we are trying to address this through our entrepreneurship framework. And basically another thing that we are addressing is the lack in human capacity or talent to drive the technology towards commercialization. So yeah, this is the key challenges that we are addressing, and the value proposition of our proposal is we are proposing an education framework that is aims to build the right kind of innovation driver capacities that can be achieved through a proper alignment of education structure that requires synergistic involvements from the identified industries, entrepreneurs, relevant policymakers, students, and well-trained faculty members. Okay. All right. So yeah, for capacity building, they are looking at how we can address challenges in science, technology, and innovation, the STI. So they are looking at how we can help to produce the critical mass in STI, human resources, including researchers or the STI policymakers, strengthening institutional capacity for research and improving science education, enhancing knowledge and expertise in spinning in, adapting and spinning out existing technologies, and improving scientific cooperations, and formulating and implementing adequate STI policies that support all of the above efforts. So basically, these are the things when we are talking about the capacity building. So these are the things that they are looking for in the proposal. By the way, I mean, if you have any questions or anything, you are welcome to just stop me during the presentation. Yeah, then you can just ask me any questions. Okay, so I think you don't really have to wait until the end of the this presentation if you have any questions. So feel free to stop me anytime. All right. Okay. So for the on the technical side, on the proposal, what they are looking for is the innovativeness of the proposal, the needs assessment, meaning that you have identified what is the problem that you want to solve and why that this problem is important to be solved and the impact of that problem. The value proposition, what is it that you are bringing in on the table to address the problem, the potential impact and outreach, implementation plan. Basically, this is kind of like your methodology, okay, how you're going to how you're going to carry out the proposed plan. The sustainability, basically this is the one that I mentioned, basically how are you going to sustain your project beyond the grant period, and the scalability, how you can kind of like replicate whatever that you are doing into some other settings or some other environments or some other countries. So those are the things that they are looking for in the proposal. Right, so basically for the proposal, there are two sections in the proposal. So the first section is the ask you to fill up some basic data and contact information, and the section 2 is where you are filling in all the important details or the required informations regarding your proposal. So I'll go through one by one on this, and basically I will kind of like dissect down what are they looking for in each of the sections. So Yeah, in this, first of all, they will ask for a executive, after you provide all your basic data and contact information, then they will ask for a executive summary. So here I provided the executive summary that I wrote for my proposal. So I will share these slides with Prof. Musa later on, and he can share with you guys these slides. So in the executive summary, you have to highlight the summary of your idea and by stating the vision for your proposal. So my proposal, the vision is to nurture the technopreneurial mindset in engineering students through pragmatic capstone project, okay, within a local industrial context. So that is the vision of what my proposal is addressing. So, and also what challenges that we are addressing. So basically the challenge is to build the right kind of innovation driver capacities that can be achieved through a proper alignment of education structure. Okay, and then what is our proposed innovation solution? So this is an education framework that we are proposing, and if it is successful, who will be the beneficiaries for the proposal is basically the students itself, the institution, and also the other stakeholders within the ecosystem. And they are also looking for the expected medium and long-term impact. So we have to be very specific on that. And finally, what is the value proposition of the proposed work? So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the executive summary is quite short, which is about 100 words. So it has to be quite articulate and address and kind of like addressing all the things that they are looking for in the executive proposal in the executive summary. Okay, so and then this is still in the section 1. So the next one is they are asking for the milestone and deliverables. So they provided this table, and I think you can just download this table from the form online. Okay, so basically they are looking for what kind of deliverables that you can deliver through this project, and is divided into 2 categories, which is the first one is on the management and the second one is on the technical. So management is more like the manpower, if you have to travel, if you have to kind of like conduct some trainings or workshops, so that falls under the category of management. And for each, and you have to specify, like I mentioned, what is the deliverables that you can deliver under the management category and what are the milestones. So you can break down, let's say if your proposal is for 3 years, then you can break down in year 1, what would be your milestone 1, year 2, what would be your milestone 2, and so on. Okay, and the second one is on the technical deliverables. It can be in terms of some IP, some module, the training module that can be under the technical category, or it can be if you are going to build some lab or something, that can also be the deliverables as well. So this is, I'm talking about the context of capacity building, and also again similarly you have to list down what are the milestones. So it's best to break down the milestone according to the year. Okay, and then the next table that you have to fill up is this budget. So it's best if you can specify this budget according to your deliverables, as well as, because you have to list down in year 1, year 2, and year 3 how much that you are requesting from ISDB. So so it's also good if you can break this down according to the milestone that you're going to deliver in year 1, year 2, and year 3, so they can know that if they are giving you $50,000 in the first year, then how are you going to use this $50,000 and what are the things, what are the key things that you are going to deliver in year 1, and so on, year 2 and year 3. So this is the budget table that you have to fill up. Okay, so those are the section 1 of the grant proposal. Now we are coming to the section 2 of the grant proposal. So they have 1 A, B, C, D, E, and F section. Okay, so in the first section, section A is basically where we identify the challenges that we want to address. Okay, so you have to state what is the status quo. Okay, what is the current capacity or capability or skill set that's good at a head start for the project. Okay, basically what we have currently, where we are currently, our status. And then we kind of like have to identify what are the gap in the current capacity to achieve the intended vision. So we have to identify where we are currently now, where we want to achieve after by implementing this proposal or this project, in between what is the gap that we have to address, okay? And then what are the additional capacities that we intend to build at 3 levels? So they are looking at what capacity that we want to build at the individual level. Like for my proposal, I highlight the capacity that I want to build within the students as well as the lecturers. So it is at individual stage. And then they want to know what are the capacities that we want to build at institutional level. This one I described at my university level. And then the third one is on the environment level. So basically at the whole ecosystem, the whole commercialization ecosystem. So they want to see at each level what are the capacity or the expertise that we want to build in through our proposal. Okay, and section B is where they want to see the innovativeness of our proposal. So they want to see what is our objectives. Okay, it must be well articulated. And then we have to write the proposed activities and how the activities can be addressed what are the planned activities in order to address the capacity gaps. So remember that, in section 1, we have mentioned what are the gaps that we want to address. So here they want to see how are we going to address it, what kind of activities that we want to do. And then they're looking for the uniqueness of the innovative capacity building proposal, why it is unique, okay, what's the advantages or the benefits of your proposal. Maybe you can highlight that your proposal is best suited for your local community, for example. So like for my case, I mean, for example, in terms of the commercialization framework, like MIT or the Stanford, they have their own commercialization framework, right? But sometimes those framework is not well suited to be adapted to our surroundings because we have a different ecosystem. Then how are we going to work around it such that it can address our local needs? So those things that you need to highlight in the proposal, so they can see that how are your proposal is different from others and why it is your proposal is best in order to address the gaps that you have identified. Okay, and then how your proposed activities can boost the STI capacities in the Muslim countries or the least developed Muslim countries related to the gaps. Okay, so in this capacity building, basically the whole transform fund is about addressing the science, technology, and innovation aspects of the country. Okay. Section C, they want to know about the impact of your proposal and the outreach of your project. Okay, so you have to list down the specific key outputs of the project. Okay, basically your deliverables, the one that you have mentioned in the table that I've shared just now. Okay, so you can reiterate back here on what are the specific key outputs that you can deliver through your project, the immediate measurable results which are achieved immediately after implementing an activity. For example, you have the milestone, right? So after year 1, year 2, and year 3. So you can specify what are the outputs after year 1, year 2, and year 3. Okay, this is basically just the immediate results, okay, of the proposed project. Next, they want to know the key outcomes of the project. Okay, so this is something that can be measured, midterm results, perhaps 1 or 2 years after finalizing the proposals. So for example, your project is for 3 years. So on year 4 or year 5, what are the things that you can see, the outcomes of your project? Okay, and then okay, where we can see some changes at the ground level because of the project activity. And then they want to see the impacts on the STI ecosystem. So this is a bit more long-term results. You can look perhaps down 5 or 10 years after you have conducted these activities or these projects. Okay, and yeah, it is something that can be achieved after a few years of the project implementation. So you have to state how you can measure the impact, and then the scale of target group impacted in the short, medium, and long term. And you can highlight the scalability of your proposed capacity building intervention. So basically, in the short term, maybe you can like address the people in your institution. Medium term, maybe you can address the local people, perhaps in the next 1 or 2 neighboring universities. And in terms of the long term, maybe is where you can see that your proposal or your project can be adapted to other Muslim countries in the long term. So those are how you can kind of like highlight how your project is scalable, okay? And then state the capacity improvement that you can provide through this project. Right, so here they want to understand what are the improvements and the impacts that your project can bring to the Muslim society as a whole. Section D, it is where they are looking at the estimated cost and implementation plan. Okay, so this is basically reiterating back what you have filled up in the budget table before. Okay, so they want to know what is the amount requested from ISDB and what is it mainly used for. Okay, again, reiterate what is your main objective of the proposal. And then they want to also to look at what the other contribution from the other donor. So they don't want to be the only one who kind of like sponsoring the project. They also wants to see how your institution are going to also contribute towards this project. So for my case, in my case, for example, is my university, IIUM, the education ministry in Malaysia, okay, the industries, the agencies. So basically you can highlight what are the things that these other partners can also contribute towards the implementation of the project. List down all the expected deliverables, activities proposed to achieve the deliverables, and what are the costs incurred. Okay, so you can see that group activity, the activity A, what are the things that you want to do and what is the cost incurred, and how much that you're asking from ISDB and how much that your institution will cover, something like that. Okay, and highlight how various stakeholders are involved during the implementation and what are their role. ISDB support under this category, as I mentioned, they will not cover the total cost of the proposed capacity building intervention, as it is considered a contribution, just a contribution to the total cost. It doesn't matter if you mention that ISDB is going to cover, let's say, 80% of the total cost, and you can kind of like justify that your institution can cover the other 20% of the cost. So the cost, it can be, you can say that, oh, okay, some other lecturers are going to contribute as well, so this much manpower that is covered by the university will amount to a certain cost. So that is the institution contribution, for example. Okay, so, and also like, let's say if you're going to use a ready lab that is available at your institution, you can also consider that as one of the institution contribution. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a monetary contribution from your institution. It can be in kind. Okay, but ISDB wants to see some of those aspects in your proposal. Okay, and section E, they wants to look at the sustainability of your project. So what is your strategy to ensure the continuation of the project beyond grant period? So as I mentioned, let's say if your proposal is for 3 year long and they will just provide the grant up to year 3. So they want to see year 4 and onwards, how you're going to continue your project without the grant money. So those are the things that you have to show the plan in year 1, year 2, and year 3. So you have to build some traction and you have to kind of like show the plan that, okay, after we have done this in year 1, year 2, and year 3, by year 4, we are already available to get some other funding, or your project is already self-sustained. Then you can get some other kind of like money to kind of like continue your project in year 4, year 5, and so on. Okay, and yeah, how you embed the strategy in the proposed activities and capacity building intervention. Highlight your strategy such that the intended long-term impact can be successfully achieved. And it will be strong if you have commercialization strategy embedded in place. So yeah, again, this is on the sustainability of the project itself. And the proposal it should not be treated as a one-off effort. So they don't want to see that, okay, after the grant has been fully utilized, then khalas, no more project. I mean, it will not continue. So they don't want to see that. They want to see the continuation of your project. Okay, and finally, they want to see on the scalability. So scalability is basically how you plan to grow your proposed project. Okay, so for example, in my case, if let's say during this during grant period, I'm going to implement it within my institution, then how do I plan to apply this to some other institution or some other countries? So they want to see that. Okay. For example, you can widen up the scope, or widen up the target impact group, or you can show how you can replicate the project in other region of Muslim countries or the least developed Muslim countries. And how is your growth plan is embedded in the proposed activities. They want to see how you're going. They want to see the plan in this proposal. Okay. And also you have to show that the proposed project is scalable. Okay. Again, you have to show it in your write-ups. Okay. So yeah, so those are the 6 items that they are looking in your proposal. So in each sections, you have to write up till 250 words. Okay, that's the words limit for all the sections inside this proposal. Okay, so 250 words is not that much. So yeah, it's quite a challenge on how you can kind of like articulate your proposal such that you can fit in this word limit. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, basically that's the end of the slides that I have here. Yeah, any questions?
Okay, Dr. Ramli, Dr. Nabilah Ramli, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I strongly believe many of us would have gotten a better understanding of this. And for now, I know a little reason why my application for last year didn't scale through from your presentation. So I hope to build up on the additive I have gotten from yours to improve my application for this year. So for those of us that will have that has questions for Dr. Nabilah Ramli, could we please drop the questions on the chat box? We will pick it up from there. So I'd just like to not reiterate what Dr. Nabilah has said, but just to give us some insights on the application. The application has been open since 1st of April, and it will be closing on the 31st of May. So we have more or less like 15 to 16 days to go. So for those of us that are interested, I think it's still a number of time for us. We still have ample time to nail our ISDB proposal. And also just to reassure us that this meeting is being recorded, and a processed video of the entire presentation will be shared on our group's website, aerg.com.ng, and with the permission of Dr. Ramli, sure, we may share our slides also on the website. So for those of us asking how do, and also on the site, you will also have our previous engagements with respect to capacity development. We'll find the slides and the videos of the recording on the website www.aerg.com.ng. So there's a question here for you, Ma, and the question is, I would like to ask if the application is location or institution specific.
So you mean here that you have to specify where you are going to apply your proposal? Is that the question?
No. Okay, what I think the person is asking is if the application is local to certain location or institution. I think that's my understanding, ma'am.
Sorry, I mean, I do, so meaning that you have to belong to an institution to apply, or does it mean that you have to have like a specific location where you want to apply the project? Or it's regarding the application or regarding the proposal?
I think it's regarding the application the person is asking.
Okay. So if in terms of the application, usually it's best to go as the institution if you are with the institution, or let's say if you have your own organization or your own company, you can also apply it through that organization or through a company. If I'm not mistaken, you are not allowed to apply as individual. So yeah, because they need to do some kind of like a background check. I'm not sure, Dr. Shirwan, are you here? Maybe Dr. Shirwan can correct me on this.
Yes,
Yeah, Dr. Shirwan, can individual apply for this project?
Yes, actually, yes, Dr. Nabilah.
Oh.
We can. Yeah, we can
Alright.
actually. But that one for 2019, I'm not so sure for 2020 and 2021. So as far as I know, they allow for that one.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So yeah, you can also apply as individual for this fund. Okay, do I answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed, ma'am. Proceed, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the next one is Dr. Ramli. What do you advise, or what's your advice do you have for applicants of proof of concept grants whose idea are not yet existing?
I think for this question, it will be best to be addressed by Dr. Shirwan, because yeah, he got the type 1 category, which is on the proof of concept. So he can share his experience being successful in that category. So I did not apply for that category, so I may not be the best one to answer for this question. So I think perhaps Dr. Shirwan, maybe you can answer after your session.
I think we'll just reserve that till the end of Dr. Shirwan's presentation. Okay, so the next one reads, I would like to find out if technology ops can apply under the capacity development or capacity building without being a government-owned institution.
Yes, they can. You can apply it as a technology hubs. Yeah.
Okay, so the last question before we take Dr. Shirwan is, I will appreciate if you can shed more light on the commercialization aspect of the requirements on the proposal.
Okay, I can share a bit on the one that I included in my proposal, because my proposal is on basically building the educational framework where the engineering students will develop a solution to a problem in an industry, and then they will learn how to commercialize it in the industry. So when I wrote the proposal, I have a plan where the industry can come in the class module, and what are the things that this industry can contribute, and what are the kind of like agreement that we can have with the industry. So that would lead to a funding from the industry on the students' project. And let's say there is a commercial potential on this project, then how do we agree beforehand in terms of the equity of that startup, for example? So yeah, so those are the commercialization aspect that I include in my proposal. So it's in terms of, because my proposal is about developing the technopreneurship. So students are going to build up a startup. So we as an institution, how do we plan that to happen, and how do we have like some sort of interest in that startup that can bring the value back to the institution. So yeah, for my case, that's my commercialization strategy.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. And the last question before we take Dr. Sharwan is, please, is this religion selective?
Religion selective, what they are looking for is basically they want to see the project to be carried out in the Muslim countries. So yeah, I think they stated in the website for this year, if let's say you are from UK or from US, you can also apply for this fund, but your project must be conducted in a Muslim countries. So as long as your project is conducted in the Muslim countries, it's fine. It doesn't have to be like I'm not sure what you mean by religion selective. I mean, if your proposal is addressing the healthcare, if your proposal is addressing on the education or in terms of the energy, it's fine as long as it is to be conducted in the Muslim countries. That's it, yeah. Do I answer that question?
Dr. Nabilah, may I add?
Yes, sure.
Okay, everyone, actually it's not what we call religion selective, because most of the recipient within our time in 2019, we have winners, non-Muslim winners, but they apply the project in the list of countries in the guideline.
Okay, thank you very much,
the member countries,
for that question. So absolutely. Okay, sure, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. No, I mean, a non-Muslim can also apply for this grant. As I said, as long as your proposal is to be implemented in a Muslim country, then yeah, there is no problem for it, for that. Anyone can apply. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for the clarification. Let me just add that what the answer Dr. Nabilah provided is that you are to be from the approved country, which we call ISDB countries or ISDB approved countries. And mostly it has to do with LEDs, that is least development or development countries. Just check the countries and you can apply. And then, Doctor, we have also been told that non-Muslims can apply. So it's not religious or religion selective. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Prof. Musa.
Hello, ma. Yes, this is Tolha. Yes, anyone from the call, anyone can apply. The only requirements required is you must be from one of the IS.
Sorry, Taha, I think we lost you.
Yes, I think we lost Dr. Folonsho Tolia there. So the next thing on the agenda is to call the second speaker and to thank Dr. Nabilah for that presentation. So Dr. Nabilah Ramli, on behalf of Advanced Engineering Innovation Research Group Nigeria, we thank you for that wonderful presentation, and we hope that we shall get back to you, and if you have any challenge or challenges, we can always communicate with you. Once again, Dr. Nabilah Ramli, it's our pleasure to have you here today, and we thank you for that wonderful presentation. Thanks, and remain blessed.
Thank you very much, Professor, and thank you everyone for your time. All right, bye.
Bye, Dr. Nabilah. So we start wasting much time, and we want to call on the second speaker for today, which is Dr. Mohammed Shamsul. So, but before calling on him, I want to read his citation so that we all know whom we are. So, Dr. Mohammed is one of the, so let me just quickly read this citation for us. So Mohammed Shamswan Nabilah Sani obtained his Ph.D. in Halal Product Science from Universiti Putra, Malaysia. He was appointed as a registered chemist of Department of Chemistry, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation between 2006 and 2013. He had served as an expert witness for environmental enforcement cases and involved in method development of oil spill analysis during his employment tenure in the department. He is actively involved at the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, and Human Rights Resource Development Fund, certified trainer for halal assurance system, and an auditor and consultant for halal-related activities in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. He has been engaging as a trainer for halal laboratory testing in Comsat University, Islamabad, Lahore campus, Pakistan. Presently, he serves as a registered chemist of Malaysia Institute of Chemistry and head of laboratory for International Institute for Halal Research and Training for 3 years at International Islamic University, Malaysia. His research focuses on method of food preservative from plant source. His research brings the new avenue of detection of non-halal contaminants via multivariate data analysis and assists in providing halal testing to the stakeholder. His research is funded by the Fundamental Research Grant Scheme (FRGS) from the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia and Islamic Development Bank Saudi Arabia, and has produced 20 published articles and patent filing. His Google Scholar ID is Mohammed Shamswan Nabilah Sani, and with ORCID number 0002028201491, and provide the details of his research affairs and contribution. I welcome on board Dr. Mohammed Shamswan Nabilah Sani, and Doctor, you can start your presentation now. Thanks.